If I was rich, I would never let new friends know until like a few weeks later when I know they genuinely like me, and then one morning they'd wake up with a letter that says their student loans have been completely paid off, and attached is just a picture of me wearing sunglasses and doing double peace signs with the caption, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm rich." If you were rich, you wouldn't be wasting your time trying to get attention on Tumblr. That's where you're wrong, bucko. No amount of money will satisfy my need for attention. Have you ever thought of a Chinese dragon combined with a dachshund or a ferret? You mean like a little wiener dog dragon? Oh ho ho oh man. Once in kindergarten, a girl asked me to write Supergirl on her arm. Since I was the only kid who could write, so I wrote "sh" on her arm, and I hid under the table for like 30 minutes. Then the teacher found me and yelled at me, then called my parents, and my dad laughed so hard he cried. I'm watching an older season of Hell's Kitchen, and there's a bit with a guy who had a shitty abusive childhood getting triggered, and like, nobody uses the word trigger, but it's pretty obvious. His eyes glaze over, he becomes spazzy and disoriented, he bursts into tears at inopportune moments, by Gordon Ramsay calling him by a nickname he associates with his abusive father, and like, he explains this to Ramsay, and Ramsay is like, "I totally understand, and I'm sorry, I only wish you had told me about this sooner, so we could have avoided this issue, compromising your performance in the kitchen." And it's like, there's all these ridiculous anti-SJ types, who are like, triggers are dumb, no trigger warnings in real life. And meanwhile Gordon fucking Ramsay, the guy whose job it is to berate people until they break down on television, understands the validity of trauma-based triggers and is willing to work around them. Like, come on. Types of stard. New. Bay. This is oddly close to real. Odd is a real suffix in the English language, just like lie or iffy, it just isn't common enough for us to notice its usage. Odd means too much, or too easily. So mustard is something that is too pungent, just as wizard is someone who is too wise, coward is someone too easily cowed, and drunkard is someone too often drunk. This implies that bastard is someone who is too bast, and this needs experimentation and research. Are you fucking serious? Oh my god. This is pretty much correct. According to the OED, bastard is from Old French, and the bastput means pack saddle, which was used as a bed by mule drivers, giving the phrase fills die bast, a child conceived on the pack saddle instead of the marriage bed. In English it becomes bastard, the ard being a pejorative. It is the same one as wizard and coward and drunkard. Types of ard. Must, bast, wiz, cow. My brain feels expanded. Have you ever just randomly cried because you've been holding shin for too long? Every week. At least 3 times a week. I definitely read this wrong. I was gonna suggest more fiber in your diet. Things that 15-year-old me did sophomore year that my southern bred God-fearing conservative Christian teachers did not like. Teacher refused to let me sit backwards in chairs. I made a point to sit backwards in chairs until she told me to stop, and then I'd manspread as much as possible. Semester 1. Teacher got onto my friend and gave her a panic attack over her newly dyed hair. I told her my friend putting red streaks in her hair was no different than her removing the gray streaks from her hair. Got sent outside. Semester 1. Teacher told me my bra strap was showing. Took my bra off in class and put it in bag. Was sent to principal's office. Mother was called, although she only muffled her laughter over the telephone. Semester 2. To homophobic teacher who disliked my mother's. What language is Gaelic from? Gaeland? That's where my mums are from, ma'am. Teacher claimed I was lying about moving to Uruguay and tried to force me into sitting in a personal meeting about my future classes and goals. Told her to sign me the F up for underwater basket weaving and got sent outside. Semester 2. Was told by teacher that ladies should not say they have to pee. Try, can I use the restroom? Instead, replied with alright. I gotta piss like a racehorse. Can I use the restroom? Got sent outside. Again. Semester 2. Was told to smile. You'll look nicer by a 6'0" male coach I did not know. when he blocked my entrance out of the classroom until I smiled for him. I said, "Shove it straight up your ass," before elbowing him in the ribcage, ducking under his arm, and running for it. Skipped class in that building for a week. Semester 2. Hopped a fence to catch my bus and flipped off an ancient male history teacher when he shouted at me to come back. He threatened to find me again. He never found me. An inspiration. Anyway, so, one of my long dead distant relatives, who I'm not even related to by blood, murdered his wife and her child a longest time ago, and because my family has been doing some research about our ancestry, we stumbled upon him, and after telling my friends about it, we now refer to him as Grandpa Murder, and his mugshot watches over our Skype group chat. Grandpa Murder and the funky fresh comrades. Tragedy plus time equals comedy. Build city. Build tower that reaches to heaven. Of all the possible jokes in this format, I did not expect the Tower of Babel. It took me a little bit to get, because I understand both languages. Since I saw some people asking, the Greek text says, the workers now speak new languages. Young Jesus. Mom, where do babies come from? Joseph. Pulls up a chair. Yay Mary, where do babies come from? This is even funnier when you realize Joseph and Mary had several other children. Literally cannot stop thinking about how my DMV employed aunt texted me last year. Did the renewal driving test for a very nice man today, you'll never guess who. And the picture attached was just her and Keanu King Reeves. She sent the same message again 2 weeks later by the way. Her and Jason Momoa. Just two dudes taking a photo with their driving test proctor. Listen, I'd absolutely F a consenting, self-aware monster, but I wouldn't F every monster. A werewolf, he comes to me and says, "Hey, you wanna go for a ride?" And I says, "Sure," because he's hot. But if Godzilla came to me and says that, no. Godzilla is a father figure, not fourth king. OP. The fact that size doesn't deter you, but the principle of the matter and the metaphorical ramifications of sexing Godzilla makes you the perfect 2018 mood honestly. This is the nicest addition to this post I've gotten. It's mostly other monsterfuckers calling me a coward. This pepper is way too small. Can you please put a little blanket or a tiny sweater on him? Because he's a little chilly. I read an article about how millennials don't carry cash on them and got annoyed, and literally yesterday I was out with a group of friends and none of us had cash. I mean, if you get robbed, you can cancel the card and transactions. If you get robbed for cash, that's it man. Millennials are ruining the robbery industry. It'd really suck if I got ice or water themed superpowers. I'd have to wear blue and white and grey instead of the reds and oranges I prefer. Wear the reds and oranges and pull an Iceland/Greenland on them. I have cornered you in this aquarium where your fire powers are useless. Fire powers? Dude, I'm an ice hero. I freeze and manipulate water. Also, I love aquariums. Thanks for the free entry. But, you're dressed like Guy Fieri. Yeah, haha. I have an autumnal complexion. Isn't it weird how you can actually feel the pain in your chest and stomach when something really hurts your feelings? This is actually because it activates your vagus nerve. Basically, your body goes, "We are so upset. We must be injured." Where? On the inside guts. Those are confusing and hard to differentiate. Confusing guts are hurt. Great. How do I uninstall it? Weakersonet. Last night I had a dream that I graduated college, but when I got home, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in my living room, and I had to fight him as a final test of skill. Eventually, I figured out his attack patterns and had an easy enough time dodging him, but none of my punches did anything. I could not pierce his hide. He was just too strong. The dream ended after I jumped on his back and wrapped my arms around his neck. I do not know if I won. When I woke up, my arms were sore. Now I'm afraid of going to sleep again, in case he returns. I cannot sleep fight DTRJ 2 nights in a row. I'm only human. The URL just makes this so much better. Special instructions. Send your cutest delivery boy. Ordering pizza. This is what I do every time. And then last time I did it, I got a call from an old Chinese man saying, "I'm the only one working. Is it okay if I come?" He got a $20 tip. Hey, as a manager at a pizza shop, this makes us all uncomfortable. Whether it be a boy or girl driver, I have to tell them to be vigilant. Don't go into the house. Don't speak more than necessary. Don't give them your name. Leave if you feel unsafe. I don't care if they don't get their food. Call me when you're coming back, so I know you're okay. The company, before I worked there of course, had a girl kidnapped because of this. Because the manager at the time didn't think to send another employee, seeing as it was close to midnight. Thankfully they got her back within a day. I don't care if you're just trying to be funny. This is predatory and very scary. Side note that's related. Don't hit on your drivers. Unless they show signs of wanting to get to know you or something. Don't make them uncomfortable. I had to put a guy on the don't deliver list because he kept calling for my 17-year-old female employee, only wanted her, no one else. I refused to send her, and then he started coming in and wanted to talk to her. She was terrified, rightfully so. She also told me about a month after she quit, she swore she saw him walking around her neighborhood. She had to put a restraining order against the fucker. Leave the drivers alone, you creeps. These photos together is making me lose it. You ate my salmon, you little sh. The beginning of a new era. He got in trouble briefly for promoting lesbianism. In Mario Golf, Toadstool Tour, Luigi celebrates good shots with an L-shaped hand gesture. Some interpreted that as the American Sign Language word for lesbian, and it caused a very mild controversy. In reality, Luigi isn't signing lesbian, since he's using the wrong hand, and in the wrong position. Regardless, hero that he is, we assume Luigi supports LGBTs of all walks of life. The L on his hat stands for lesbian. Luigi, Goomba, Birdo, Toad. Why are you competing in our cooking show today? Me. The government banned gladiator matches, yet I yearn for glory in the arena. I'm here to tell you, gladiator matches are still a thing, pal. Interesting. The last time I tried to behead a man for prestige and right to majesty, I was dragged out of the alleyway by 3 very unreasonable men of the law, and I would like to know where you live. As a German kid, I used to wonder why our radio stations like to play the American national anthem so much, until a friend explained to me that Country Roads Take Me Home is not in fact you guys' national hymn. That song came out like a month ago. How old are you? How are you posting from 1971? Homie thought Lil Nas did Country Roads. For college I want to start making chimera plushes, but I can't stand the idea of cutting up a plushie. Do you think a chimera could be created without pain and heartache? I cannot express how distraught this question makes me feel. High school teachers. If you don't show up with a dress and full makeup, or a fitted tuxedo to class every day to college, your professors will execute you. College professors. I once had a professor slam a thermos down on his desk and say to us, "There's more pressure in my sinuses right now than there is at the bottom of the sea. This thing's full of NyQuil. I'm going to drink it while I teach, and when your heads are replaced by swelling rainbows, I will cancel the rest of class." The class ended up being 17 minutes long. Your professor was trying to fight God.